Everyone thinks that Beast vs Superman would be an epic battle, but it's not even close. And I'll be breaking down every reason why. Starting with where they come from, because origins shape everything. Beast was born as Thok, a leonine warrior cursed with unimaginable power and an insatiable thirst for war. Coming from a war-torn world locked in endless conflict, Thok once sought to end the chaos and unite his people. But in doing so, he was cursed. How that happened is never revealed, but he was given unstoppable strength, boundless stamina, and near invulnerability. This curse made him a living engine of destruction. With unmatched mastery of hand-to-hand combat and all known weaponry, Beast became a legend across the cosmos. He tore through the mightiest beings and civilizations, conquering thousands of worlds and earning the dreaded title, the Scourge of the Twin Galaxies. Entire star systems trembled at the whisper of his name. A simple promise of fighting a worthy opponent is enough to win him over, which is how I think Machine Head, a simple gang boss on Earth, was able to hire him. But their alliance brought Beast into direct conflict with Invincible and the Guardians of the Globe. But they ended up being a little more than heroes that he effortlessly defeated and left broken, not even considering them worthy of death.
This battle is beneath me. There is no honor in killing insects.
Later, Beast was captured only to be freed by Omni-Man and Alan the Alien. When he learned there were Viltrumites aboard the floating prison, a race he had never fought before, he demanded that they fight him immediately. He swiftly tore through one of them and, with his bloodlust still raging, he drifted into space, frozen until he was recovered by the coalition of planets. Joining their cause, Beast continued to decimate Viltrumite forces, even using the bodies of dead Viltrumite warriors as weapons against other Viltrumites. But his thirst for a worthy challenge remained unquenched. That challenge finally came in the form of Thrag, the most powerful Viltrumite to ever live. When Beast first went up against Thrag, he was overpowered by the Viltrumite, who called him a nuisance at best. Later, he was tasked by the coalition to put an end to his opponent once and for all. Having gotten the best gift, he raced to find Thrag. Their fight was the most hyped and arguably the greatest fight in comic book history. The battle begins where Thrag, already weakened from his previous encounter with the Ragnar, faces off against the Beast. The stakes are high as both characters are known for their formidable combat skills. Beast, with his warrior's code, slices open his own chest to ensure that the fight is fair, demonstrating his respect for Thrag and his desire for an honorable battle. As the fight progresses, the comic captures the ferocity of their exchanges. The panels are filled with dynamic action sequences, illustrating the sheer power of their blows. Thrag, despite his injuries, showcases his tactical prowess, using his experience to counter Beast's relentless attacks. Throughout the 3 days of combat, the environment around them becomes a testament to their struggle, with debris and destruction marking the battlefield. The fight is not just physical. It is a clash of wills, with both characters refusing to back down. In the next issue, we see the tide begin to turn as Thrag, fueled by desperation and rage, starts to gain the upper hand. The final moments are glorious as Beast does nothing but thank him for a worthy fight. Thrag would go on to prove himself as the coalition's greatest threat. He effortlessly punched through Omni-Man, destroyed entire planets, and reduced top-tier warriors who have literally thrown through Viltrum's core to ash with terrifying ease. Going against him alone is no easy feat, and this makes Beast the embodiment of determination. But even going toe-to-toe with Thrag would not prove that Beast has enough power against Superman, because it all boils down to core beliefs. Superman, on the other hand, was born as Kal-El on the doomed planet Krypton as the son of brilliant scientists Jor-El and Lara. As Krypton was hanging on by a thread, its core destabilized by a catastrophic natural event. Jor-El took desperate action. Determined to save his son from the planet's doomed fate, he constructed a small spacecraft and placed infant Kal-El inside just moments before Krypton was destroyed in a massive explosion. The ship traveled across the stars, eventually crash landing near Smallville, Kansas on Earth. There, the baby was discovered by a compassionate farming couple, Jonathan and Martha Kent, who took him in as their own. They named him Clark Kent and raised him with love, humility, and a strong moral compass. As Clark grew, he began to display incredible powers, gifts granted by Earth's yellow sun and its lighter gravity. These abilities included super strength, flight, heat vision, X-ray vision, super speed, and near invulnerability. Though his origins were alien, his heart and values were shaped by the human family that raised him. Embracing those values, Clark eventually moved to Metropolis, where he pursued a career in journalism at the Daily Planet. There, he assumed the identity of Superman, a beacon of hope, truth, and justice. More than just a hero with otherworldly powers, Superman represents the triumph of nurture over nature. His deep bond with humanity defines him. He chooses to protect, to inspire, and to lead by example, not because he has to, but because it's the right thing to do. This becomes the core difference between them. Superman is the ultimate protector of Earth. In every sense, he stands for everything humanity embodies, a being of near infinite strength guided by compassion and unwavering moral clarity. Battle Beast, on the other hand, represents something far more primal. Raw power, endless rage, and a legacy of conquest. He doesn't conquer for an empire expansion like Omni-Man, he battles for the thrill, for the test, for the war itself. Cursed with invincibility and driven by an unquenchable thirst for combat, Battle Beast is not pretending to be human. He never cared. He's the purest form of a warrior god, and he exists only to fight. Battle Beast only cares about finding an opponent greater than he is. Even when Thrag kills him, he thanks the Viltrumite for giving him a worthy death. But that isn't their only difference. Superman's strength is so immense it bends reality. In more abstract feats, he once entered the metaphysical realm to turn a page in the Book of Destiny, a book whose infinite pages each carry infinite weight. That's a metaphor, yes, but also a feat of cosmic will. In a more concrete sense, he moved the entire planet Earth out of a rogue planet's path. That's not a moment of extreme adrenaline. That's just Superman being Superman. He's held black holes in his bare hands. He's lifted Earth mass simulators near the sun non-stop for 5 days. He has wrestled gods, stopped collapsing dimensions, and torn apart time loops through force and willpower. Battle Beast? He's not a planet mover. He doesn't bend books of destiny, but he breaks warriors. He's fought and killed the most powerful beings across galaxies. He's conquered thousands of worlds, not through technology or armies, but with his own hands. He tore through armies of Viltrumites, used them as weapons, and laughed through it. His battle with Thrag, the strongest Viltrumite, lasted days. A cosmic fest that shattered landscapes and pushed both to the brink of death. When Thrag faltered, Battle Beast cut himself open just to keep the fight fair. That's not a strategy, that's an obsession. He doesn't want to win, he wants to fight someone worthy. Speed becomes a similar comparison. Superman is a blur to anything bound by time. He reacts in microseconds, can fly from Earth to Vega, which is 25 light years away, in minutes, and has crossed the universe in seconds. He's outraced the Flash on rare occasions, even keeping up when Flash taps into the Speed Force. He's disabled global satellite weapons in seconds, caught bullets after they were fired, and dodged lightspeed attacks like they're nothing. Battle Beast is fast. Very fast. But he isn't flying between star systems. He doesn't dodge beams at light speed or blitz entire continents in moments. He's never needed to. His durability means he doesn't run from attacks. He runs through them. But if we're talking pure speed and reaction, Superman is in another dimension, literally and figuratively. But even Battle Beast's durability is no match. Superman has taken punches from beings who shatter dimensions. He's tanked Darkseid's Omega beams, which erase people from reality. He's endured sun core level heat, 15 million degrees Celsius, and gravitational pressures that would crush entire planets. And he doesn't just survive it, he absorbs it. There is no real measure to how much Battle Beast can endure. So let's look at it from the view of his greatest opponent. Viltrumites are strong by nature. Omni-Man punches invincible through buildings, cities, a mountain, and across a multi-mile distance. Conquest does the same and breaks out of a prison weighing 400 tons casually. Thrag is the greatest one of them all. Top tier characters who have flown through the core of Viltrum, withstanding its heat and dramatically destroying it, are routinely one-shotted by Thrag. He gives a brutal beating to anyone who even dares to face him. Standing your ground in battle against such a character is a testimony to Battle Beast's durability. He's walked through cities of flame and armies of monsters. He's not just durable, he's functionally unkillable to most. But cosmic? Abstract? Dimensional? That's Superman's playground. And when it comes to strategy on the battlefield, Superman once again is unparalleled. Here's where most people drastically underestimate Superman. They see the muscles, the cape, the planet-lifting strength, and assume he's just a blunt instrument of force. But Superman's mind is as formidable as his fists. He's not just a fighter, he's a polymath, a philosopher, a leader and a tactician who has outwitted gods and cosmic entities alike. By trade, Clark Kent is a Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative journalist, trained to spot patterns, uncover deception, and think critically under pressure. His years at the Daily Planet aren't just a disguise. They sharpen his ability to analyze situations quickly, observe from multiple angles, and find truth in chaos. These skills bleed into battle, where his instincts often rival Batman's in tactical foresight. But he's also a scientist, raised by Jonathan Kent on a farm but schooled by Kryptonian technology, particularly the teachings of his biological father, Jor-El, whose AI lives on in the Fortress of Solitude. From understanding black holes to building containment fields for reality-warping threats, Superman has often solved problems that stump even the greatest minds of the Justice League. In Action Comics number 775, for example, Superman defeats the Elite, a group of brutal anti-heroes, not just through power, but by exposing the moral and tactical flaws in their philosophy. He's also a seasoned battlefield commander. He's led the Justice League in conflicts involving gods, aliens, and multi-dimensional threats. He's worked beside Wonder Woman in ancient warfare, trained in Amazonian combat tactics. He has even sparred with Batman, one of the greatest minds in the DC universe, who has admitted that Superman isn't just raw force, but a quick-thinking, high-adaptable fighter. In the Trinity series and others, the synergy between Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman isn't just about power balance, it's about strategic harmony. In terms of raw experience, Superman has lived through centuries in alternate timelines, as seen in All-Star Superman, Kingdom Come, and Superman Red Son, adapting not only physically but philosophically. He solved 5-dimensional puzzles from Mr. Mxyzptlk, debated with cosmic intellects like Brainiac, and withstood the mental assaults of telepaths like Manchester Black and Martian Manhunter. He also speaks every known language on Earth, learned through exposure, Kryptonian memory implants, and sheer will. Beyond that, he's fluent in Interlac, the universal language of the 30th century legion of superheroes, the Martian dialect, and various Kryptonian dialects, making him invaluable in diplomacy and alien relations. In Superman Up in the Sky, he tracks a kidnapped child across space-time, navigating hostile worlds using his intelligence just as much as his strength. Even in combat, Superman doesn't just punch, he calculates. He's shown in multiple comics like Superman for Tomorrow and GLA, Tower of Babel, to analyze his opponent's psychology, physiology, and environment mid-battle, finding precise pressure points, weaknesses, and non-lethal ways to neutralize threat. And it's not all theory. Superman was trained under Wildcat in boxing, under Batman in stealth and tactics, and under Wonder Woman in divine combat. He's absorbed strategies from alien species, new gods like Orion, and warrior cultures across galaxies. So when Superman enters a fight, he's not just bringing strength, he's bringing centuries of knowledge, a mind enhanced by Kryptonian genetics, a heart trained in journalism, diplomacy, and morality. The kind of battle-tested wisdom that only a being who has fought alongside gods and humans alike could possess. In short, Superman doesn't just win with might, he wins with mind, method, and meaning. Battle Beast in comparison does not even hold a candle to this. He's a warrior through and through. He's war incarnate, a living embodiment of conflict forged not in training halls, but in blood-soaked battlefields that stretch across stars. He wasn't taught to fight, he was built for it. From the moment he was cured with power, his path has been one of relentless, unending combat. And in that process, he didn't just become skilled, he became a monster of martial perfection. Over lifetimes, Battle Beast mastered every form of known weaponry, from blades and hammers to alien plasma axes and gravitic chains. He doesn't use weapons, he becomes them. He's fought the greatest champions of thousands of worlds and left their civilizations in ruin. His reputation alone was enough to instill fear across galaxies, so feared that many refused to speak his name aloud, choosing superstition over courage. That's not a legend, that's a precedent. But here's where the contrast becomes stark. Battle Beast doesn't adapt, he doesn't evolve, he endures. Strategy? Tactics? Formation? They're irrelevant to him. His approach is pure primal dominance. Overwhelm, overpower, destroy. While others assess terrain or weigh risk versus reward, Battle Beast charges headfirst because for him, there is no scenario where he should not be the victor. His instincts are refined to an art. Yes, he can read attacks, respond with vicious precision, and dismantle entire squads in seconds. But that's reaction, not reflection. He's a lone wolf, not because he prefers solitude, but because no one survives long enough to fight beside him. His battles are duels, even if he's surrounded. He doesn't coordinate with allies, he outpaces them. He doesn't set traps, he breaks through them. And in moments where a tactician would retreat to regroup, BattleBeast surges forward even if it means death, because for him, a glorious end in combat is not failure, it's fulfillment. There is a brilliance to his savagery, but it's the brilliance of a hurricane. Not calculated, not flexible, but unstoppable. He once tore through Viltrumite warriors using their own corpses as weapons. He doesn't outthink his enemies, he outlasts them. He outbleeds them. And if he dies, he does so with a grin. But this also marks his limit. While Superman learns from every opponent, BattleBeast challenges them to break him. Where Superman shifts tactics mid-fight, BattleBeast doubles down. Where Superman views each life as something to protect, BattleBeast sees life as a test to be survived or ended. He is a glorious engine of destruction, but not a general, not a tactician, and certainly not a leader. In the end, BattleBeast isn't built to win wars. He's built to die in one. But through all of this, Superman's greatest strength is restraint. It's easy to be overwhelmed by his power, to see the heat vision, the speed, the strength to drag planets behind him and assume that is what makes him invincible. But the truth is far more profound. Superman's power isn't defined by what he can do. It's defined by what he chooses not to. He could end most battles before they begin. He could crush bones with a flick of his finger, silence tyrants with a glance, vaporize entire armies in a moment. But he doesn't, because Clark Kent, Kal-El, believes in something greater than power. He believes in light, in mercy, in giving people a chance to be better even if they don't deserve it. He holds back not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. Because when gods walk among mortals, only one thing prevents them from becoming monsters: choice. But make no mistake, when that choice is taken from him, when innocent lives hang by a thread, when diplomacy fails and the monsters refuse to stop, Superman doesn't hesitate. And when he cuts loose, even cosmic deities falter. The ground trembles, time distorts, the air ignites. Superman unleashes truth, and it comes in the shape of a fist moving faster than thought, backed by a soul forged in hope. He ends wars in seconds. He silences chaos with absolute precision. No mess, no cruelty, no ego, just justice. Now, let's look at BattleBeast. He has no concept of restraint, no dial to turn down. He is all fire, no filter. A warrior who doesn't fight to protect, or to restore, or even to win. He fights to fight. Every blow he throws is meant to kill. Every enemy is a test, not a morality, but of endurance. And if they fall short, if they die screaming in his wake, he offers no remorse. No reflection, just a growl and the hunger for the next worthy opponent. It's not bravery, it's a mania, a curse disguised as strength. He doesn't want peace, he doesn't believe in it. In fact, he fears it, because peace means the battle is over, and if there's no battle, who is he? That's the total difference. Superman fights because he has to. BattleBeast fights because he needs to. One seeks to end suffering, the other thrives in it. Superman can break worlds, but choose to heal them. BattleBeast can tear through legions, but never one stops to rebuild what he destroys. And when the dust settles, that difference echoes loudest. Because Superman doesn't just win, he brings closure. He ends the fight decisively, surgically, with precision born from principle. No wasted motion, no collateral carnage, just what needs to be done. BattleBeast never finishes anything. He kills, he conquers, then he leaves. There's no arc, no conclusion, just a trail of blood and hunger that never fades. So when they collide, when restraint meets rage, only one walks away in control. Superman doesn't fight to prove he's the strongest. He fights to prove that strength alone is not enough. Superman is a symbol. He's the ideal. He's what power looks like when guided by love and principle. BattleBeast is a warning. He's what happens when power serves only the ego, when the purest of strength overtakes the reason to fight in the first place. Superman chooses humanity, BattleBeast rejects it. Superman protects life, BattleBeast tests it. Their stories are both powerful, but their values are fundamentally opposed. This isn't a rivalry, it's a moral mismatch. In the end, BattleBeast is a god of war. Superman is a god of mercy. One fights because he wants to, the other because he has to. BattleBeast is glorious, brutal, and unforgettable, but Superman is inevitable. Let's imagine it. No kryptonite, no tricks, no backup, no speeches, no limits, just Superman and BattleBeast. Neutral ground, a barren world forgotten by time. No civilians to save, no cities to protect, just endless terrain and an open sky. A place where restraint has no reason to exist. BattleBeast doesn't wait. He never does. He charges with a roar that cracks the air, eyes glowing with bloodlust, his war axe raised high. It's not strategy, it's instinct. It's a need. A single downward strike and it connects. Superman doesn't dodge. He He lets it happen. The weapon bites. It cuts skin that's withstood black holes. Blood, Kryptonian blood, is drawn. Battle Beast grins. Finally, a worthy fight. Then, Superman moves. No words, just a blur. A punch faster than thought, faster than Battle Beast can process, connects with his chest and sends him crashing through mountains, through oceans, into orbit. The impact alone shifts the planet's axis. But Battle Beast is laughing. He claws his way from a crater the size of a city, shakes off molten rock, and launches himself back into the battle. What follows isn't a fight, it's war. They collide again and again, trading strikes that rupture tectonic plates. Shockwaves flatten landscapes. Volcanic eruptions ripple in their wake. Clouds spiral into unnatural patterns. They brawl across oceans, into the stratosphere, through the moon's crust, and back again. A storm of muscle, will, and fury. But Battle Beast doesn't adapt. He just endures. Every attack he throws is raw, primal, and predictable. He's a beast, relentless, ferocious, but single-minded. Superman adapts. He studies each movement, each pattern, each tell, and slowly, methodically, he begins to outpace him, to outthink him. He doesn't just match strength, he leverages intellect, tactics, timing. Battle Beast lands hits, but fewer. Superman starts landing more, harder, and then he decides to end it once and for all. A blinding solar flare burst, channeled with surgical focus, engulfs Battle Beast. His armor melts, his axe vaporizes mid-swing, then a strike faster than sound, then light, then thought collapses the very space around them, warping gravity, halting momentum. Battle Beast is dazed. For the first time, he hesitates. Superman grabs him. A grip like the core of a dying star, crushing, not to kill, but to stop. The resoluteness and a calm composure, he ends the fight. Battle Beast fails, unconscious or broken, it doesn't matter. There's nothing left to prove. The warrior got his fight, and Superman? He gave it everything and still held back just enough. So, the answer to who would win in Battle Beast vs. Superman? The answer is obvious. No matter the version, the universe, or the arena, Superman walks away every time. If you like this video, be sure to check out why Omni-Man vs. Superman isn't even close.